max acceleration. 3, 2, 1, go! Holy shit! Oh shit! Oh my god! Forget about battery swap. We're gonna put that aside. NIO's amazing service and insurance, we're gonna put that aside. NIO houses and the awesome food that they have here, we're gonna put that aside. Today, we are just gonna be talking about the car itself and review the whole thing. The good, the bad, the ugly. By the way, guys, there's auto parking. Let's try it out, all right? Right there, next to the ET7, we're gonna do that. All you gotta do is swipe right and then turn on 360 camera, and then you can activate that and it's gonna start looking for some parking spots. Oh, you see, it detected that parking spot, which is this one right here. Let's click on that. And just let go of the brake. Door, boom, soft touch, really elegant, nice. And then you can get out the car, and it's also soft close. Just gently put it in, and it's gonna, ooh, look at that. Boom, hit that, and then the charging port open. We're gonna use this charger. Pull this bad boy out. This is why I hate charging, guys. You gotta use your strength. Come on. God damn it, man. Oh, there we go. You gotta put your shoulder in that. And then it's gonna work. And then you see, it's all tangled up, man. What the hell? This is why I hate charging. You gotta turn around. Yeah. Charging is so old school. Obsolete. The whole thing's heavy. Imagine if you're like a skinny girl trying to handle this. You gotta. Alright, there we go. You guys can see, if I'm trying to hop in, my legs usually bump into the steering wheel. And this is, by the way, the highest setting for the steering wheel. So, if I want to get my leg through, I got to put it down. Oh, and look over here, it's bumping into the steering column. So I got to really retract my leg, and then I'm in. Of course, it has to do with the height of the car only being 1.50 meters. I'm 1.80 meters. A part of that is me being a bit fat. This is a very compact car. And there's nothing wrong with that, guys. There's nothing wrong with that. Once you're in the car, it's fairly comfortable. One thing to notice, the headroom in the second row is all right. And actually, for me, being 180, you know, this part right here, it's actually a place to rest your head at. Believe it or not. Yeah, like, you see, I'll move the camera to the side. Yeah, the rear headroom is very, very tight. If you're like 1.85 meters, you're definitely gonna be hitting the glass roof right there. So for me, just naturally resting, it is just about perfect. Now, in terms of legroom, I have the seat pretty far back, and you can tell between the passenger seat, my seat, this driver's seat is pretty far back. In terms of legroom, I actually have decent amount of legroom. What's really interesting is you would think you'd be able to put your toes in front, but actually you can't. There's a thing down there, you can't put your foot in front. Very standard Vance. What can you expect? This is pretty good. You got one USB-C outlet over there. This center console right here opens from both sides. You can open it from the left. Boom. And then you can also open it from the right. There's a button over here, same button. Boom. Boom. Open this up. Wow. And then one thing I've always really liked about NIO is how, just click on that, pops out. Wow. The lining on top, microfiber, very nice. If you're seated in the middle of the rear passenger side, your head's gonna be bumping on the ceiling. That's something to keep in mind. You definitely want a shorter person sitting in the middle, but it is what it is, guys. I gotta say, the highlight of this car is definitely the way it drives. Now, what do I mean by that? This is a driver's car. The way it drives, the steering is precise. It's very precise, but at the same time, because of the front steering bar, that's what it's called, you don't get that much road vibration. So it's not like some other auto manufacturers where it just doesn't feel real. It feels fake when you're steering. It feels fake. This car, it feels real, but at the same time, the vibrations are toned down, so it's a bit more comfortable. This is just amazing. This is comparable to like BMW cars. You know, I gotta give the thumbs up to the designers and engineers over in Germany. I mean, they made this car super good in terms of how it drives and the way it feels. Also, one thing I really like about this car is how the acceleration is linear. It's instant, it's linear. You know exactly how much power you're gonna get by what angle of the throttle that you press. So that means that you have, at every time when you're driving this car, you have absolute control over it. It's not going to give you any sort of delayed response or any sort of, you're trying to steer this way and then it's not really steering how much you want. None of that, right? This car, it goes exactly where you want, exactly how fast you want. That's the best way to describe it. You guys need to test drive this car. And then of course, to activate NIO Pilot, all you gotta do is click this button over here. Pilot, 已启动. And just let go, and then you can increase your speed. Now it's at 65, 70, cool. You can see on the little front dash over there, it says 70. Always hover your foot over the brakes. And then if you want to increase the distance between you and the car in front of you, you press this button right here. This increase the distance and this decrease the distance. To exit NIO Pilot, you can click this button to exit. And then, or you can just tap the brake, gently tap the brake, and that's gonna exit NIO Pilot. Very, very smooth, very nice. Suspension wise, we're going over a speed bump. You do definitely feel it, but it's pretty tuned, well tuned, I guess. Braking performance on this car is also very linear. What I mean is that in my EC6, when you press the brake, the first 50% of the brakes was super soft, and then the rest 50% of the brakes is super tough. When you press down the brakes, it would have a lot of braking power all of a sudden. And that's because on my EC6, it was regen braking for the first 50% and then Brembo braking at the latter 50%. But somehow on the ET5, they've managed to make this braking super linear so that you get exactly how much braking performance you want by how much you press on the brakes. Very nice. You see, because of how low the car is, this whole entire section takes up a lot of my view. So I actually only have like this little thin slit to view on the right, and that could be a potential safety hazard. So if I'm like turning right, or if I want to be careful of something on the right side, I gotta duck down a little bit just to look like that. But in general, at my eye height, this is what I'm seeing. Like, this is blocking a lot of the view. Now, I gotta admit, this is much better than the EC6, of course. It's OLED, faster processor, right? In terms, everything snappy, more snappy. But still, if you swipe down, you can't really adjust brightness this way. I mean, they should make it so that you can adjust brightness. Swipe down and you can adjust brightness. Instead, to adjust brightness of the screen, click on that, and then you gotta scroll down to this display and then adjust the brightness that way. I mean, come on. I mean, they should have just a control panel. If you want to turn on Bluetooth or turn off Bluetooth, you gotta also do the same process. Come over here in the menu, click on that, and that could be pretty annoying to do when you're driving. But you know, you can always use Nomi. You can always use Nomi to activate this kind of stuff. I mean, generally, you can see how the movie viewing experience is just so small. This is the size of my hand. I get that it's vertical, it's part of their design language, but if they rotated this 90 degrees, right, the viewing experience would be so much better. But I understand if they do that, you might get into some more legroom problem. You might bump into this by accident if it was over here. But it is what it is. It's not that pleasant of a movie viewing experience, but it gets the job done. You don't buy this car to view movies. And of course, NIO does have its AR glasses and also VR glasses coming its way, and you can always watch movies on those. Hear that? There's creaking sounds in the seat, and this is more obvious when you accelerate or when you decelerate. But I guess this is something that probably pertains to only this car. Most of the time, you're probably not going to get it. And also, if you do have that problem, NIO will happily fix it for you. Make sure there's no sound at all. This car is actually cheaper than the all-wheel drive Model 3 here in China. And if you slap on BAS, it's just so damn cheap. And then you get some sort of financing where you only pay like a little bit of down payment and then pay monthly. Man, like this car is going to be accessible to all sorts of customers. So this car is going to sell like hotcakes. Everybody loves the design, everybody loves its performance, everybody loves the technology inside the car. Charging in this car, and sometimes I get jolted forward. It feels like somebody's kicking the back of the car, but there's nobody kicking the back of the car. And I'm not doing anything with the throttle or anything, but it just sometimes it jolts forward when it's charging. Well, I wonder what's going on. It's crazy. Overall, the use of materials in this car is just fantastic, guys. The buttons are nice and solid, very tactile, nothing flimsy. Overall, a very, very fantastic car. See you guys in the next one. Stay safe, stay healthy. Peace out.